Chapter 71 Beat Me Up. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I'm pretty damn proud right now, that Lu Feng's been messing with my plans, but today I finally got the upper hand. After all, Lu Feng's just a Daluo Jingxian. I'm practically a quasi-sage, so ambushing a Daluo Jingxian is a piece of cake. Of course, I don't care that some think it's a chicken shit move. I'm practically Lu Feng's uncle, for Christ's sake, and I'm way stronger than him. Now, to turn the tide, I gotta sneak attack a junior. Not exactly a profile in courage, but who gives a rat's ass what they think. Nuwa, you and your student have screwed up my shot at becoming a saint more than once. Today, that ends. D. Jun hadn't even clocked that connection. Sure, there was some drama between Laozi and Nuwa back then, but who knew the real reason? Hearing Laozi's rant, D. Jun suddenly got it. If someone kept screwing up my chance at becoming a saint, I'd probably do the same damn thing. That's a grudge worth fighting over. Nuwa just scoffed. Oh, that's rich. You want to start a human religion and steal the destiny of my human race. But I created the human race, so why should I let you horn in? And isn't all this destiny stealing just serving some people's selfish agenda? Nuwa just dropped a truth bomb on Honghuang himself. Everyone sucked in a breath. Nuwa's gone off the deep end. Saying stuff like that out loud? That's the Dao ancestor we're talking about. Is she trying to bite the hand that feeds her? Nuwa gave Yuanshi and the others a cold look. Since you're all snakes in the grass, I'll do you a favor and put you out of your misery. Yuanshi and the others felt a chill run down their spines. What the hell is Nuwa planning? Is she actually going to try and take down a saint? They're still saints. But looking at the Zhuxian formation trapping them, Yuanshi and the others couldn't relax for a second, afraid they'd get seriously messed up if they weren't careful. Even if their souls are tied to the way of heaven, having their bodies trashed was a blow they couldn't take, but I kept a poker face, though I was seething inside. I'm gonna kill Lu Feng today. What are you gonna do about it? He's trapped in my exquisite pagoda. Killing him would be like shooting fish in a barrel. You really think you can save him? But even trapped in the pagoda, Lu Feng could hear what was going on outside. Hearing me talk all that trash made him want to bust out even more. He's still sore about me using the pagoda to clobber him, and now I'm gonna kill him in the damn thing. Besides, that rickety tower couldn't handle a full power hit from him. With Lu Feng's strength, the pagoda couldn't hold him. Plus, Lu Feng's got the god-killing spear, the Honghuang heavenly ruler, and the seed-eating pearl on him. If Lu Feng hadn't held back, he would have already smashed that tower to smithereens. I'm just running my mouth, thinking he's just some Daluo Jingxian, doesn't even realize who he's messing with. Just as Lu Feng was thinking about blasting out of the pagoda, I suddenly shoved it forward. Instantly, endless black and yellow power of heaven and earth erupted from the exquisite pagoda, blasting straight towards Lu Feng. Hongyun and Zhen Yuanzi winced and tried to stop me, but they were too late. Seeing the black and yellow power slam into Lu Feng, Hongyun couldn't even watch. In a flash, Lu Feng punched the exquisite pagoda dead on. With his strength, he could easily bust that thing wide open. The blow rocked the pagoda, and the exquisite pagoda flew out of my hand. Before I could even blink, my exquisite pagoda was shattered right in front of me. Lu Feng showed up with a grin, and as he raised his hand, 36 Dinghai divine pearls started spinning around him. Before anyone could catch their breath, Lu Feng said with a smile. Did you think I was kidding? In an instant, Lu Feng detonated the 36 Dinghai divine pearls, and 3,000 Taoist magic twisted behind him. And just like that, he was right in my face. Feeling the strength of Daluo Jingxian coming from Lu Feng, I couldn't help but sneer. You wanna mess with me, even at Daluo Jingxian? Lu Feng wasn't about to take it easy on me. The 36 Dinghai divine pearls flew at me full speed. The power of countless laws exploded on my body. I got blown to pieces, my body vaporized. Lu Feng didn't even hesitate. After the 36 Dinghai divine pearls destroyed my physical body, they crushed my soul in the next second. Everyone was stunned by Lu Feng's actions. Isn't Lu Feng just a Daluo Jingxian? Why is he so strong? He just blew me away in one move. Then it hit them. Lu Feng really wants me dead. My soul was getting pulverized by the 36 Dinghai divine pearls, and the screams wouldn't stop. Hearing my screams, even the three saints, Yuanshi, were shaken, but I'm Yuanshi's older brother after all. After a moment, Yuanshi roared at Lu Feng. Lu Feng, you lay a finger on my brother, and you'll regret it when I get out of here. Hearing Yuanshi's threat, Nuwa snorted, still trapped in the Zhuxian sword formation, and he's already trying to boss Lu Feng around. Who does he think he is? Yuanshi had barely finished his threat when the sword energy in the Zhuxian sword formation came at him again. Yuanshi didn't have time to worry about his brother's situation now. After Nuwa took care of Yuanshi, she had time to be shocked. Lu Feng was full of surprises. Nuwa always knew that Lu Feng was tougher than he looked, but who expected Lu Feng to go straight for the kill? Chapter 72, Kill You While You Are Sick. You are listening at novelfull.audio. You gotta know, I'm practically a sage veteran. If that guy hadn't screwed up his shot at becoming a true saint, I'd probably be the top dog saint by now. Even without being a saint, he's still sitting pretty at the peak of the quasi-saints, but here he was, getting his butt kicked by Lu Feng, a mere Daluo Jingxian. Nuwa was totally freaked out, especially by those 36 Dinghai divine pearls in Lu Feng's hands. She'd heard about them in Lu Feng's reports. Now, seeing their power firsthand, Nuwa had a much better grasp of Lu Feng's strength. This apprentice of hers was even more formidable than she thought. He could crush me. Nuwa suddenly felt like her earlier protectiveness was totally unnecessary. Di Jun and Tai were sporting some serious dark expressions. They'd been pretty stoked when I showed up to shake things up. Who knew I'd end up recruiting another major player for their side? Di Jun knew he wasn't as strong as me. If Lu Feng could take me down so easily, even wrecking my soul, he could definitely do the same to him. Even more importantly, how did Lu Feng get his hands on 36 Dinghai divine pearls? Weren't there only 24 of those things? Why did Lu Feng suddenly have 36? The aura radiating from those pearls made Di Jun feel seriously threatened, almost oppressed. Everyone was lost in thought, but Lu Feng wasn't paying any attention. Since I was dumb enough to pull out that pagoda and try a sneak attack, even if it didn't quite land, he wasn't about to leave such a scumbag breathing. Strike while the iron's hot. Might as well finish you off today. I just hope this doesn't screw up everything. Whatever. Lu Feng wasn't about to overthink it. This guy's gotta go. I could feel the murderous intent rolling off Lu Feng, and I wanted to roar in protest, but I couldn't get the words out. Just then, Yuanshi tossed out his Pangu banner. As an innate treasure, the Pangu banner immediately shot toward Lu Feng. But Nuwa had been watching Yuanshi like a hawk and used her Zhuxian sword to block the attack right away. Lu Feng can beat me, at the top of the quasi-sages, but he might not be able to withstand a saint's blow. Even if Yuanshi, the saint, is a total loser. Best to handle this myself. Yuanshi was caught off guard when Nuwa blocked him. Junior sister Nuwa. You're just going to let your disciple kill me, your own brother. Nuwa shrugged. Whose fault is it if he's weak? Why does he get to kill my disciples, but mine can't touch him? Yuanshi was fuming, but Nuwa didn't give a damn. She instantly cranked up the Zhuxian formation and crushed the three guys inside. Jiayin and Zhundi were in deep trouble. They were already weak, and now Nuwa was pummeling them relentlessly, practically tearing them apart. The two Westerners finally realized how powerful Nuwa was and started yelling. Junior sister Nuwa, this is God's will. Why fight it? That's right, junior sister, we don't need to be at war. Nuwa glanced at them coldly. God's will? Are we following God's will, or are we following someone else's? Why should we bow to God's will? The two Westerners were stumped. We're saints of heaven, and we follow the will of heaven. That's what we do. Nuwa snorted. You guys are good at twisting things. Heaven hasn't said anything yet, so why are you trying to use God's will to boss me around? I don't want to kill you today. But if you dare attack my disciple again, I swear I'll destroy you in this formation. Destroying a saint's physical body would take hundreds of thousands of years to fix. Yuanshi and the others paled. Nobody wanted to lose their bodies in that formation, so they doubled down and started fighting back against Nuwa's attacks. Even though my body was destroyed, I still had a few tricks up my sleeve. I popped some kind of pill, and my aura surged, and bam, I had a new body. Even though I was still seriously injured, I glared daggers at Lu Feng. Lu Feng was way stronger than I thought, who knew a Daluo Jingxian would have that jerk's treasure in his hands, and that thing could shatter my body in one shot. I had a bad feeling. Lu Feng hadn't even gone all out with his attack. If he had, my soul would be in even worse shape. Lu Feng looked at me with my new body inside. I didn't think you'd be this tough. One body down, another one pops up. I wonder how long this one will last against me. Hearing that, I almost choked on my own blood. It took a ton of effort to rebuild my body, and now Lu Feng was mocking me. I was so pissed that I raised the dust whisk in my hand. The whisk transformed into a swarm of black hairs, attacking Lu Feng's hands, feet, and neck. Lu Feng didn't even hesitate. He took back the 36 Dinghai divine pearls. Then, he raised his hand and swung his spear. The spear was filled with raw destructive power, enough to split the heavens. Everyone watching was stunned. That's the innate treasure, the god-killing spear. How did Lu Feng get his hands on it? The god-killing spear hit its mark. I was sent flying, and even my new body started to fall apart. My eyes were wide with horror. Why do you have the god-killing spear? Lu Feng chuckled and casually twirled the spear. You wanna know? Stick around until I run you through with it, then I'll whisper the answer in your ear. Honestly, Lu Feng hadn't wanted to reveal his trump card, but these guys were really pushing him. Did they think he was some kind of pushover? Did they really think he had no temper? Chapter 73-1 is always taking the blame. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lu Feng didn't just pull out the god-killing spear this time. In a flash, he had the Honghuang heavenly measurement ruler in his other hand. Seeing that ruler, my eyes went wide. How does this kid have so many treasures? And each one is an innate treasure. But what came next was even more shocking. Lu Feng was treating me like a punching bag, unleashing every magical power he had. Destroy all laws. Soul descent. Realm of the gods. Law of wood, and on and on. A barrage of powers came crashing down on me. Even the spectators were dumbfounded. Never mind me. In no time, my body was destroyed again. Lu Feng saw the shocked faces around him and smirked to himself. This was exactly what he wanted. Only by beating this group down would they stop seeing him as an easy target. Weren't you just bragging about killing me here? Come on, then. I'm not scared of a saint, let alone a non-saint like you. My eyes burned with rage, but before I could even strike, the god-killing spear swept over me again. This time, Lu Feng actually knocked off my top 3 flowers. I was completely stunned. That was the Tao fruit I had painstakingly cultivated. Now Lu Feng had destroyed it all. Lu Feng pocketed the god-killing spear and the Honghuang ruler, leaving only the 36 Dinghai divine pearls in his hands. Hearing my roar, he casually picked at his ear. Your grandpa's right here. No need to shout so loud, right? That I was so furious I was speechless. Lu Feng, I'll fight you to the death today. Lu Feng sneered. Fine by me. But either way, you and I will be okay. But since this is my first real fight in front of an audience, I'll give you a special present. But with that, Lu Feng made his move. Suddenly, the sky turned dark. Clouds gathered, and thunder rumbled. Sensing this strange shift, my expression changed. Then, a dark shape plummeted from the sky, heading straight for me. I felt the danger and dodged almost instantly. Even so, my spirit still took a serious hit. When the dark shape crashed to the ground, the whole of Shuyang Mountain shook. Everyone stared at the coffin wreathed in black mist, shocked and confused. My soul was even more surprised. The sky-suppressing coffin. The heavenly treasure, heaven-suppressing coffin. How do you have this? Lu Feng casually sat down on top of the heaven-suppressing coffin. What do you think? Why don't I tell you after you've taken a little nap inside? My soul was already in worse shape than before, but Lu Feng's next attack hammered me again. The power of law crushed my soul over and over. Finally, Lu Feng got tired of hitting me, so he just threw my soul into the sky-suppressing coffin. This dark coffin looks scary. Throwing your soul into it is guaranteed to bring you endless torture. Lu Feng's move was revenge for me locking him in the Linglong Pagoda. He tapped on the coffin lid while still sitting on top. Master, I think I'm being pretty filial, Junior. I was worried you might die, so I got you a coffin. If you die outright, that's great. If not, just lie here and rest for a while. Inside, my soul was being constantly crushed by the black energy, and screams poured from my mouth, but even as he suffered, he still yelled at Lu Feng. Lu Feng. I won't let you get away with this. Just wait until I become a saint. Lu Feng patted the coffin. You in sanctification. Please. You got your butt kicked before you even became a saint. How can you do it? A thief like you? No wonder my teacher cut off your chances to become a saint. You went after the human race, trying to steal their luck. If we don't beat you, who will we beat? Nuwa, hearing Lu Feng's words, nearly exploded with anger. Cut off his chances to become a saint. He ran away that time. The reason I founded People's Education was after listening to Lu Feng. She was taking the blame for Lu Feng. But she couldn't disown her apprentice in front of everyone. Her apprentice wasn't wrong anyway. I don't care what you wanted, you dared to target the human race, so don't blame me. Yuan Shi, seeing Lu Feng's humiliation, turned livid. Lu Feng, let my brother go now. He's destined to be a saint. Don't you fear punishment from heaven? Lu Feng patted himself for giving birth to Jintian coffin. Afraid? Have you ever seen me scared? Seeing the coffin Lu Feng was sitting on, Yuan Shi almost gasped, then he roared again. We carry on the Panga tradition. Humiliating us means the teacher will not spare you. Hearing Yuan Shi's words, Nuwa slashed at Yuan Shi with several sword energy. How long are you going to keep at it? You make Panga look bad. Did Panga teach you to be villains? Yuan Shi clenched his teeth. Nuwa, you're out of line. Nuwa snorted. I've done more than a few things. What makes you think I care? The Panga three pure ones are all villains. Especially you and me, Yuan Shi and I, are not as upright as Tong Tian. We have committed villainous deeds, and we might as well die to apologize for our sins. Yuan Shi's teeth began to chatter, ignoring the sword energy. He waved the Panga flag and charged towards the edge of the formation. The two in the west were terrified. Nuwa had gone insane. Even if they could say such things, it would be better for them to recruit him as soon as possible. Thinking of this, the two westerners also quickly activated the magic weapons in their hands and rushed to the edge of the formation. But the Zhuxian sword formation cannot be broken except by the four saints. Though Yuan Shi and the others tried their best, Nuwa suppressed them. Yuan Shi roared. Nuwa. Chapter 74 Defying Destiny. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It's a shame Nuwa wasn't holding back at all. No matter how loud Yuan Shi yelled, Lu Feng kept a close watch on Nuwa. Even though his teacher was powerful, as the founder of Pangu Jingshan Taoism, he was bound to have a way to survive this. Nuwa was battling three saints all by herself. The entire prehistoric world was in chaos, but everyone was mostly just surprised. After all, Nuwa and the others were all disciples of the Tao ancestor. Now, these saints were fighting each other. Maybe it foreshadowed something. Even though his soul was sealed in the heaven-suppressing coffin, Lu Feng's senses weren't blocked, so he could clearly see everything that was happening outside. He was stunned when he saw Nuwa specifically targeting Yuan Shi. Nuwa, you're out of line. Right after he spoke, Lu Feng lashed out with a whip. The whip struck his soul directly, causing him to scream in agony. Hearing Lao Tzu's screams, Yuan Shi roared angrily. Lu Feng, I'm practically your uncle. How dare you hit him so hard? Lu Feng just scoffed. Uncle, schmunkle. If you can't win, you're just trying to coast by on seniority, right? Come back when you can beat me. You're just dragging me down. At that moment, both Lao Tzu and Yuan Shi were getting a beatdown from Lu Feng and his teacher. It was better for Lao Tzu, since he didn't have a saint's body. Still, it caused a lot of murmuring that Yuan Shi lost to Nuwa even as a saint. Just when Lao Tzu and Yuan Shi were about to bite the dust at the hands of Lu Feng and his teacher, a voice suddenly called out in front of Lu Feng. Nephew Lu Feng. There was a hint of helplessness in the voice. Lu Feng looked up and saw Tong Tian. Seeing Tong Tian appear, Lao Tzu and Yuan Shi perked up. Their third brother was here. Of the three of them, Tong Tian was the strongest. With Tong Tian here, the situation could change dramatically. Lao Tzu almost blurted it out. Tong Tian, hurry up and kill that beast, Lu Feng. Lu Feng's expression didn't change. It wasn't that he underestimated Tong Tian. Tong Tian had become a saint because of his guidance, and still owed him a favor from back then. That debt was huge. How could Tong Tian kill him in this situation? Besides, Tong Tian wasn't a villain like Laozi and Yuanshi. Sure enough, Tong Tian gave Lu Feng a wry smile. I didn't expect us to meet again so soon. Time flies in the prehistoric world, tens of thousands of years is just a blink of an eye. Tong Tian never imagined he'd see Lu Feng again so soon, and on such an occasion, Yuanshi and Laozi saw that Tong Tian had no intention of fighting, and quickly urged him. Tong Tian, what are you waiting for? Hurry up and attack. Tong Tian, do it now, don't hesitate. Lu Feng listened to them shouting and just watched Tong Tian, waiting for his answer. Tong Tian was struggling, but finally cupped his hands to Lu Feng and said softly. I wonder if you'd do me a favor, nephew, and let my older brother go first. As a thank you, I'm willing to give you this top-quality innate spiritual root. Lu Feng's eyes changed when he saw what Tong Tian was offering. The innate spiritual root Tong Tian was holding wasn't just anything, it was a sacred tree of innate spiritual root enlightenment. That was a sweet deal. With that thing, his enlightenment speed would more than triple, plus, the leaves of the sacred tree of enlightenment could be picked, and the tea could help people cleanse their spiritual roots. You didn't come across such a rare treasure every day, and Lu Feng hadn't scored one yet. Lu Feng was intrigued. Tong Tian sensed he might have a chance. To be honest, compared to Tong Tian over at Yuanshi, Lao Tzu was in more danger. Nuwa was being aggressive, but she didn't really want to kill Yuan. Sure. Plus, Yuanshi's soul was tied to the way of heaven. Even if his physical body was destroyed, he still had a chance to recover as long as his soul remained intact, but Lao Tzu hadn't become a saint yet, and his physical body had been rebuilt twice. If Lu Feng caught him and decided to make an example, Lao Tzu would really die, so, even just to save his older brother's life, Tong Tian was willing to hand over the top-quality innate spiritual root. Lu Feng never intended to kill Lao Tzu, he was just messing with him. Lao Tzu was one of the three pure ones, and he was destined to be a saint. Even without the Zixiao Palace sermon, he would have achieved sainthood by fate. It was a pity that Lu Feng had cut off his opportunities time and time again, which was why he hadn't become a saint yet. Lu Feng took the divine tree of enlightenment and finally nodded. He jumped off the sky-suppressing coffin and kicked it in front of Tong Tian. Looking at the coffin, Tong Tian quickly opened the lid. After a moment, Lao Tzu climbed out, but the first thing he did when he emerged was rush straight at Lu Feng. Lu Feng, I'm taking your life today. But before Lu Feng could react, Tong Tian grabbed Lao Tzu's shoulders, smiled apologetically at Lu Feng, and said. Sorry, nephew Lu Feng. I'm taking my brother back to Kunlun Mountain now. With that, Tong Tian grabbed Lao Tzu and transformed into a streak of light, disappearing before Lu Feng's eyes. Seeing Tong Tian leave so smoothly, Lu Feng was impressed. Tong Tian was clearly different from Laozi and Yuanshi. Look how straightforward they were. Unlike Lao Tzu and Yuanshi, that is to say, Yuanshi, didn't know what Lu Feng was thinking at this moment. Yuanshi watched Tongshan leave with his own eyes, and felt a bit of resentment in his heart. Why did my younger brother just take his eldest brother away? Know that you are still here. But as soon as Tong Tian came out, Yuanshi's back immediately stiffened. He dropped his earlier weakness and sneered at Nuwa. Junior sister Nuwa, I advise you to honestly hand over all the humans. The demon clan has to refine the witchcraft sword. It's destiny. If you defy destiny today, you'll end up regretting it. Chapter 75 Eye of Punishment. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Nuwa glared at Yuanshi. Senior brother Yuanshi, when did I say I was banning humans from going out? If you want to forge that witch-slaying sword, I won't interfere with other races. But you dared to mess with me, with humanity. As their holy mother, I can't just stand by. With that, Nuwa unleashed the Zhuxian sword formation again, hammering at Yuanshi and the others. After fighting for so long, Yuanshi and his crew were looking rough, their bodies had been destroyed by Nuwa ages ago, they were just clinging to life with their souls, Nuwa wasn't sweating it. Might makes right, as far as she was concerned, since Yuanshi and the others couldn't win, they could just forget about forging that witch-slaying sword, lest they cause even more trouble. Jun and Tai Yi sized up the situation. Yuanshi and company were definitely going to limp away from this one, and a single swipe from Nuwa could wipe out the entire demon clan. They exchanged a look and made up their minds, retreat. Staying would be suicide, plus, the humans had Nuwa backing them up, and the demon court. They didn't even have a saint. If they couldn't beat Yuanshi, what chance did they have? Jun pulled out his demon summoning flag and led the demons back to heaven. The three Yuanshi saints noticed Jun's retreat. They were beyond shocked. Seriously? They were holding the line, and Jun just cut and ran. That's no way to do business. They were livid, but Jun didn't care. They were saints, after all, unkillable. He was just a three-legged golden crow, and very killable. Better to bail while Nuwa was busy than to stick around and get even. Jun had his priorities straight. Nuwa spotted him, though. Seeing him try to sneak away, she instantly lashed out. "Oh, you want to leave? I'm settling this score with you today." Jun's heart skipped a beat. Even as her words landed, beams of light blocked his path. Jun, where do you think you're going? You're paying for this in blood. Jun's eyes widened in surprise, the voice sounded familiar. Before he could place it, a powerful force slammed into him. He didn't dare take the hit directly, and barely managed to block it with his own fire magic. Jun was beyond frustrated. He thought invading the humans was a sure thing. The demons were drawn to them like moths to a flame. Now, not only had the invasion failed, but he and the three saints were trapped in Nuwa's sword formation. The demon clan was trying to retreat, only to find the witch clan blocking their escape. That's right, Jiang, one of the 12 ancestral witches, had arrived. Looking to avenge his little sister Ho Tu, he wanted Jun's head on a platter. Seeing the witch clan army, and the very guy who sold out their race, Jun felt a wave of despair. The humans were already their equals in strength. With the demon retreat, they'd never get back on their feet. Then, a gray figure materialized. Seeing Jun about to clash with Jiang, it spoke. "Nuwa. This is fate. Don't defy it." Nuwa scoffed. "What kind of fate is this?" Her magic swirled around her, but she recognized the person who'd stopped her, and her tone softened. Who would have thought Nuwa would be so headstrong, even in front of Taozu himself? Was there anything she wouldn't do? The demon clan breathed a sigh of relief, but Hongjun was enraged by her words. "Nuwa, do you have any idea what you're saying?" Nuwa's face was blank. She didn't regret speaking out, and didn't seem scared at all. She just looked sad. That's when Yuanshi and the others jumped in. With Daozu here, what were they waiting for? Time to complain. "Taozu, Nuwa has been speaking nonsense for a while now. She needs to be punished severely." Yuanshi's face was smug. She thought she was so tough. He'd file a complaint and see how she liked that. Hongjun knew the situation was serious. Right after Yuanshi finished, a golden light flashed across the horizon, and a black eye slowly opened. Everyone in existence froze in fear. The Eye of Punishment. What was going on? Was this to punish a saint? Even the witch clan were rattled. The Eye of Punishment meant the wrath of heaven. That was worse than any lightning strike. If it was aimed at Nuwa, she was in for a rough ride. Back at Kunlun Mountain, Tong Tian watched the Eye of Punishment appear in the sky and sighed. Daozu was seriously mad this time, bringing out that he just hoped Nuwa could take it. Otherwise, what a waste. Meanwhile, sitting across from Tong Tian, was gloating. "Ha ha ha ha. Didn't think you'd end up like this, Nuwa. I hope the lightning fries you and your disciple into dust." Hearing his brother's words, Tong Tian frowned. He knew what was going on between his brother and Nuwa's apprentice. If his brother hadn't gone looking for trouble, none of this would have happened. At least he had enough face to get Tong Tian released, but Yuanshi still had some leverage, so Nuwa was bound to release him soon anyway. Still, Tong Tian couldn't help but worry about Nuwa. Yuanshi and I were ecstatic. They were overjoyed. Chapter 76. My Nuwa killed herself today. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The purple thunder crashed down on Nuwa. Her face was set as she watched the storm gather above. Xuandu, still recovering, couldn't stay put. He hurried to Lu Feng. Master, what's happening? Lu Feng waved him off, unconcerned. Don't sweat it. With your teacher standing here, what's to worry about? Xuandu was still worried, pointing out the teacher above the master. Heaven was obviously furious. If things went sideways, Nuwa might lose her position as a heavenly saint. Hongjun was confident Nuwa would now cave, stating, Nuwa, admit your mistake, and I'll clear these thunderclouds. Nuwa just scoffed. Lackey of heaven. Do you think I care about being a heavenly saint? Since heaven's restraints are too much to bear, I'll abolish them today. Her voice echoed across the world, laced with defiance. Tong Tian and the others were shocked, and the entire prehistoric world was taken aback. Was Nuwa crazy? The sainthood was precious, these powerful beings knew it well. A heavenly saint was second to none, immortal, practically guaranteed eternal life. Even with heaven's constraints, it was a prize everyone desired, but Nuwa was throwing it all away. For a moment, everyone thought she'd lost it. Losing her position meant her power would diminish. Could she withstand the three saints today? She would be suppressed beyond recovery. Hongjun was surprised, but mostly embarrassed. Nuwa! He exclaimed. Do you understand what you're saying? Giving up sainthood means falling to the quasi-saint level, with no hope of returning. Nuwa chuckled, her eyes filled with disdain. What's so great about being a saint? Governed by heaven, bound by holier-than-thou figures. How can I have peace sitting on that throne? Nuwa's words struck like thunder. Countless creatures started questioning their own paths. Was eternal life truly their goal? Were they willing to sacrifice their freedom for it, forever bound by heaven's laws? Many hearts wavered. Perhaps being a heavenly saint wasn't something they could bear. Nuwa then shouted, Today, I, Nuwa, swear to give up this heavenly sainthood. Suddenly, a powerful force erupted from her, rushing towards the original Tao fruit within her, transforming into a beam of light that shot into the sky. Everyone's eyes widened. A sliver of Nuwa's soul power emerged in the sky. Her soul raised its hand, instantly grabbing the Tao fruit within Nuwa. Break! She yelled. The moment she held the Tao fruit, an intense pressure exploded from Nuwa, her aura growing wild. Strong winds buffeted everything, making it hard for anyone to stay upright. The wind tossed Xuandu around. Lu Feng steadied him, taking out his 36 Dinghai divine pearls. Protected by the pearls, the wind couldn't touch them. Looking up, they saw Nuwa's soul, along with the golden Tao fruit, turn into golden light, shatter, and scatter across the land. The three pure ones, the two saints of the West, and the Lich clans watched, stunned. Nuwa really had lost it. She'd broken her Tao fruit. As it shattered, Nuwa's power rapidly declined. She was originally at the 5th level of Honghuang Daoyuo Golden Immortal, but with the demon clan's luck fading and the Tao fruit shattered, she plummeted to the peak of quasi-sage cultivation. Yuan Shi smiled excitedly at Nuwa's decline, but excitement soon turned to fear. Was Nuwa too ruthless? Destroying her own Tao fruit on a whim, the holy throne no less. And for what? She had not only offended Yuan Shi and Laozi of the three pure ones but also the second saint of the West and the demon emperor Jun Tai. Worse, she had humiliated Daozu Hongjun, the spokesperson of heavenly Tao. With Nuwa's rapidly declining power, would those she offended be merciful? Everyone was surprised and saddened. It seemed the ancient world would no longer have a saint named Nuwa, but her strength and courage were admired by many. Daring to sacrifice herself like that, no one present, not even Hongjun, had that kind of guts. Tong Tian, far away in the Kunlun mountains, also felt the loss of Nuwa's heavenly aura. He sighed for her. Such a great holy throne. Nuwa simply gave it up. He could never do such a thing, and now, Nuwa was directly opposed to Xianmen and even Tiandao, with her current strength. Resisting Xuanmen's attacks wouldn't be easy. Hongjun might even order them to deal with Nuwa and her disciple. Tong Tian felt uneasy again. He still owed the karma of the human religion and Lu Feng a favor. Betraying them would trouble Tong Tian. Maybe he could just stay out of it. If he didn't interfere, Nuwa would face less pressure. In the meantime, I was nearly overjoyed. He finally saw a chance for victory. Nuwa's power was reduced, and her sainthood was gone. Now he could confidently fight her, instead of constantly sending a junior to be humiliated. Chapter 77 Return to the Holy Throne. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Thinking about Lu Feng just makes my blood boil. But I have to hold off for now. Once this whole mess is over, Yuan Shi and I are going to settle the score with those two, master and apprentice. This time, he's going to make Nuwa regret giving up her shot at being a saint. Ideally, we'll take Lu Feng out of the picture for good. Besides, Nuwa's not a saint anymore, so what do we have to be afraid of? Yuan Shi, on the other hand, seemed conflicted, especially after watching Nuwa personally destroy her Saint Dao fruit. He wasn't sure how to feel about her. Deep down, he was still ticked off about how Nuwa had humiliated him, but seeing someone even more powerful than him trash something he considered sacred just felt weird, like it was something he valued, but it wasn't even worth anything. More like a common rock you'd find on the side of the road. Sanqing had a lot on his mind, and the second saints of the West were in a similar boat. Seeing Nuwa's Daogua crumble before their eyes really shook them. Normally, the second saints of the West didn't have much beef with Nuwa. They didn't hold any real grudge against her. They were mostly just following Honghuang's orders when they clashed with her, and in the Zhuxian sword formation, Nuwa seemed to go easier on them than she did on Yuan Shi. Yuan Shi barely made it out of there in one piece. The second saints of the West just suffered some minor damage and could recover after a century of RR. So, truth be told, the second saints of the West didn't have any hard feelings toward Nuwa. Let alone any desire for revenge. Whether she was a saint or not wouldn't really affect their plans for developing the West. At this point, the second sage of the West decided to sit this one out and just watch what happens. Over with the demon clan. Dijuan and Tai were also stunned. Nuwa becoming a saint had always been a major boon for them. It gave the demon clan the opportunity to grow and prosper. Now that she was no longer a saint, who knows what that would mean for them. Thank goodness Nuwa had already left the demon clan. Otherwise, this could have messed with their entire fate. Dijun and Tai were a little scared, but more than anything, they were relieved. As for the witch clan, the 12 ancestral witches were full of admiration for Nuwa's move. The witch clan wasn't as calculating as the monster clan. They just respected strength. It was hard not to be impressed by Nuwa's courage to stand up to Honghuang and even do something that seemed self-destructive. Nuwa's face was pale, but she stood tall and unbowed. Even though her aura had diminished, it couldn't hide the fact that she had lost her saintly status. Honghuang gave Nuwa a long, hard look, and finally sighed. Nuwa, I didn't expect you to do this. You became my disciple, my only female disciple, but now you've defied heaven, killed your own saintly status, and even turned against the entire Xianmen. Nuwa scoffed. I'm getting rid of my holy throne so I can be done with you, the heavenly Tao, and the Xianmen. And who said I can't cultivate just because I'm not a saint anymore? As soon as she said that, a true Dharma Tao fruit materialized in her Z mansion. In the blink of an eye, she absorbed and refined it with incredible speed. At the same time, Nuwa's body began to emit a powerful force of creation, causing the 9 golden dragons behind her to soar into the sky again. These 9 golden dragons quickly merged into a golden wheel of fortune and landed behind her. Seeing that golden wheel of fortune, people couldn't believe their eyes. How could luck possibly reach this level? It actually gathered into a golden wheel of fortune. And this golden wheel of fortune was even more dazzling than the golden cloud of merit Nuwa had gained when she created humans. Compared to it, her golden cloud of merit seemed almost dim. This shocking and radiant luck made people almost afraid to look at it directly. When Yuan Shi saw the golden wheel of fortune behind Nuwa, his first reaction was disbelief. How is this possible? Didn't you just give up your saintly status? Nuwa smiled coldly, with a hint of mockery in her voice. So what if I did? I only gave up something I didn't even want. As she spoke, Nuwa's cultivation level began to skyrocket. Yuan Shi's eyebrows furrowed, sensing the overwhelming aura on Nuwa's body. Why did it feel like Nuwa was about to become a saint all over again? And yet, there it was. In just a few breaths, Nuwa's aura broke through the quasi-sage peak, and she entered the first level of Honghuang Daoyuo Golden Immortal in one fell swoop. Instantly, all living creatures knelt down and surrendered. Flowers bloomed from the ground, vying for beauty, everyone was witnessing something unbelievable. Nuwa was truly becoming a saint. And her path to becoming a saint seemed completely different from that of the heavenly saints. Hongjuan's pupils constricted, there was a hint of uncertainty in his eyes. He hadn't expected Nuwa's realm to be so high. He thought she was signing her own death warrant, but she was actually breaking down the old to build something new, a phoenix rising from the ashes. In short order, Nuwa's aura had grown to the 5th level of Honghuang Daoyuo Golden Immortal, and the ones present were even better. Even Hongjuan's expression turned a little grim. He had only reached the 6th level of Honghuang Daoyuo Golden Immortal. If Nuwa went any further, his own position could be threatened. With that thought, a dark light flickered in Hongjuan's eyes, but Nuwa's aura didn't stop at the 5th level. Instead, she continued to advance triumphantly. Lu Feng happily watched his teacher's breakthrough, his eyes filled with relief. He had finally waited for this day. His teacher would soon be able to stand tall and proud, and his disciple would finally be able to hold his head high, thinking about the future. His teacher would be free from the control of heaven and become a true Honghuang Daoyuo Golden Immortal, enjoying eternal freedom. Lu Feng couldn't help but applaud his teacher. Seeing Lu Feng applauding, Xuandu was a little confused as to what he meant, but under his teacher's intense gaze, he imitated the teacher's behavior and happily started clapping his hands. Chapter 78 What a Ruthless Plan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A few more breaths, then, Nuwa's aura exploded. The pressure everyone felt intensified. Simultaneously, Nuwa ascended from the 5th to the 6th heaven of Honghuang Daoyuo Golden Immortal. Hongjuan's composure finally cracked. He wasn't alone. Yuanshi, Tongtian, the demon clan, the witch clan, and even the 2 saints of the west were all stunned. How was this even possible? She'd broken through, fallen, and then risen again, proving Honghuang de Luo Jingxian a second time. And she'd jumped an entire level. That alone had everyone green with envy, but before they could fully process it, Nuwa fixed her gaze on Hongjun. Dao Ancestor, now that I've escaped the way of heaven, what are your intentions? Hongjun was genuinely stumped. Nuwa was now beyond heaven's control, and thus beyond his own. How had she managed to orchestrate all of this right under his nose? He was at a loss. With things spiraling out of control, he had to aim for the best possible compromise. Hongjun chuckled softly and looked at Nuwa. I didn't expect you to find such an opportunity. Though you're no longer bound by heaven, as a primordial being, harming others might prove problematic. Hongjun was clearly talking about Yuanshi and the others. Nuwa didn't necessarily want to kill them, anyway. While Nuwa and Hongjun were now on the same level, Nuwa, fresh from her advancement, couldn't face him directly, so, she set her sights on a different target. The demon clan, noticing Nuwa's gaze, Dijuan and Tai felt a chill run down their spines. If Nuwa couldn't touch Yuanshi, would she turn on them? Looking back at the day's events, their demon clan was definitely at fault. Nuwa wanted to settle the score, and today was the perfect opportunity. After all, she'd gone as far as destroying her own Taoism to escape their clutches. What wouldn't she do? The thought had Dijun and Tai feeling like they were standing under a guillotine. Better to take the initiative than wait for Nuwa to strike, so, Dijun bowed respectfully to Nuwa. Empress Nuwa, the events of today are the fault of our demon clan. We vow to never repeat it, on the fate of our entire clan. Dijun's move was an attempt to save the demon clan. Tai was incapable of such compromise. As the demon king, it was his responsibility to handle it. As for Hongjun, Dijun wasn't holding his breath. He'd already intervened once to protect Yuanshi and the others. He wouldn't risk a second time. Dijun was wrong this time. As key players in the Lich Tribulation, Hongjun wouldn't let Dijun and Tai die at Nuwa's hands. Nuwa studied Dijun and Tai, then seized the opportunity. If that's the case, I'll take your word for it. But if the demon clan ever attacks again, don't blame me for wiping you off the map. Hearing her words, Dijun's heart skipped a beat. But he replied respectfully. Thank you, Empress Nuwa, for your kindness. Dijun will remember it. The demon clan will never invade again. Nuwa simply hummed in response. Dijun, sensing the moment had passed, immediately had Tai summon the chaos bell, and led the demon clan away from Shouyang Mountain. Hongjun nodded with satisfaction. If Nuwa had insisted on killing Di Jun and Tai, he would have intervened. They were vital to his plan. Nuwa letting them go meant she still feared him. Things weren't completely out of control. Hongjun turned his attention to Yuanshi and the others. Let's go. Hearing him, Yuanshi, Jiayin, and Zhundi quickly followed. As they were about to leave, Nuwa spoke. I can spare the demon clan, and I can spare these three as well. But I have one question for you, Dao Ancestor. Why did the Xianmen disciples block the gates of my Nuwa palace while my human race was being slaughtered? Nuwa's question was cutting. Hongjun frowned. Yuanshi immediately retorted. Nuwa, are you questioning destiny? Do you dare blame the teacher? Nuwa gave Yuanshi a long, hard look. Of course not. I'm merely reminding you that your teacher, Yuanshi, has been in seclusion for centuries. If he were to seclude himself for hundreds of thousands of years, and the disciples of your Chan sect were wiped out, don't blame me. Hearing Nuwa's words, Yuanshi's face flushed with anger. Jane and Zhundi felt a cold shiver down their spines. They were definitely on a sinking ship. They thought there was nothing Nuwa could do, since Tao Ancestor was there, but she wasn't afraid of the way of heaven, or the Tao Ancestor. She was right. If the Taoist Ancestor went into seclusion, Nuwa could wipe out their disciples at any time. She could make their lives a living hell without killing them. And they were powerless to stop her. They couldn't beat her before, and they certainly couldn't beat her now. Hongjun knew Nuwa's intentions. She simply wanted an explanation, so, he softened his tone. Then what explanation would satisfy you, Nuwa? Nuwa chuckled. I don't need trinkets. Just have each of them give me a treasure as an apology, and we'll call it even. Hearing that, even Hongjun had to grit his teeth and agree. Very well. A five-colored sacred stone appeared in Hongjun's hand. Lu Feng instantly recognized it. Wasn't that the raw material Nuwa used to mend the sky? Dao Ancestor had no intention of letting go. The Lich tribulation was on the horizon. Gongdang's clash with Buzhou Mountain was inevitable. When Mount Buzhou fell, Nuwa would have the five-colored sacred stone in her hand. She'd have to mend the sky, whether she wanted to or not. Binding her to the way of heaven once again. What a cold-blooded calculation. Chapter 79 Apology. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It wasn't the right moment for Lu Feng to remind his teacher, so he kept quiet. The five-color sacred stone was in Nuwa's hands. Ultimately, the decision to fix the sky rested with her. Hongjun's plan was destined to fail. Besides, Lu Feng had a backup plan. Hadn't Ho Tu already provided a great treasure? Maybe that could appease the anger over Buzhou Mountain. With that thought, Lu Feng stopped worrying and waited for the next contestant to cough up some treasure. Sure enough, after seeing Hongjun give something up, Yuanshi had no choice but to hand over his Zhutian Qingyun. This Zhutian Qingyun was a rare treasure, offering incredible defense. Yuanshi was just trying to buy his way out of trouble, even though he was furious at Nuwa's attitude, but even Daozu had to bend the knee. So what could he do? He still had a ton of disciples to look after. What if Nuwa really took charge one day? Could Daozu intervene in time? Yuanshi wasn't sure, so he quickly surrendered the treasure. Jiayin and Zhundi were green with envy. They couldn't believe Yuanshi was willing to part with such a thing. Thinking about their own situation, Jiayin and Zhundi felt a wave of depression wash over them. What good treasures did they even have? Any decent treasures they'd managed to find in their backwater corner of the West were usually swiped from somewhere else. Now they were stuck on Daozu's sinking ship and had to pay reparations, so Jiayin immediately pulled out an innate spiritual root. When it came to being shameless, Jiayin and Zhundi were number one with a bullet, so, right now, they decided to get on board with the good vibes. Junior sister Nuwa, I heard your nephew is a green lotus transformation. I have an innate spiritual root here that he can absorb and refine. Nuwa glanced at the root in Jiayin's hand. It was top-notch, no doubt about it. Jiayin was really feeling the pinch this time. Nuwa nodded and handed the root over to her apprentice. Here's a little something for your trouble. Take it. Lu Feng hadn't expected to be compensated for doing nothing. He was pretty stoked. Lu Feng was happy, and Nuwa was relieved. Seeing this, Zhundi followed suit and offered his 6 pure bamboos. Junior sister Nuwa, this is a weapon I use frequently. Consider it an apology for today. Please don't hold my senior brothers and me accountable for what happened today. There was bad blood between Yuan Shi and Nuwa, but his senior brothers didn't share the hatred. If Zhundi and Jane didn't know heaven merit, they would never get involved. Their power still needs to improve. Running around for the West, being involved in this kind of thing. They're just asking for trouble. Nuwa saw through Zhundi and Jane, but she was too lazy to call them on it. She just accepted the bamboos and nodded. Since you acknowledge your mistake, we can call it even. I won't keep you. Do as you please. It was a clear dismissal, but Hongjuan's expression remained unchanged, and he silently led Yuanshi and the others away from Shuyang Mountain. As soon as Hongjuan and his crew were gone, the humans knelt. Thank you, Empress Nuwa. Thank you, great immortal Lu Feng. Hearing the shouts, Nuwa's cold face softened. Please, rise. From now on, the human race is under the protection of the human religion. Anyone who attacks my human race is an enemy of Nuwa. Her words resonated throughout the ancient world, sending shivers down countless spines. Who would dare to covet the human race now? Nuwa was protecting them. Even Daozu couldn't get any favor with her. Could they be stronger than Dao ancestor? Everyone had calmed down and dared not mention the human race at all, let alone trespass on their lands. Jin Yuanzi and Hongyun only came to their senses then. Nuwa's confrontation with Hongjun and her actions today had surprised and impressed them, especially her willingness to destroy Taoguo herself. Their courage is unmatched. One wrong move, and the results will be irreparable. Aside from Nuwa, Jin Yuanzi and Hongyun also had different views on Lu Feng, who always seemed laid back and indifferent. They originally thought Lu Feng was just a privileged disciple, but today, Lu Feng fought against me alone and showed no disadvantage. He even directly destroyed 2 of me. Ordinary people can't do that. Even more surprising was his cultivation. He was just a Daoyuo Jingxian, but he suppressed me, who was at the peak of a quasi-sage. Even Tong Tian, who was known for his fighting skills, didn't say much when he met Lu Feng. He just politely took him away. They had only thought Lu Feng was lazy. Now I feel that Nuwa really has the eyes of a saint, and she can see people very accurately. Nuwa settled the human affairs and followed Lu Feng back to his cave. As soon as the door closed, Nuwa seemed to lose her strength, replaced with worry. Lu Feng, are you okay? Lu Feng shook his head, smiling. Teacher, what do you think could happen to me? Nuwa worried that Lu Feng had used some secret method to temporarily boost his strength to the quasi-sage level during the fight. Seeing that Lu Feng was fine, she was relieved. Good. Looking at Nuwa, Lu Feng rubbed the innate spiritual root in his hand. My teacher still cares about me. This feels great. Is it wrong to want to be a rebel disciple again? Nuwa didn't know what Lu Feng was thinking. She laid out all the gifts she had received in front of him. What happened today was unexpected, but luckily it turned out well. As for these apologies, they're not much use to me. I might as well leave them to you. It was more of a covert way to give Lu Feng more treasure. Although Nuwa knew that Lu Feng had his own treasures, those were things he had acquired himself. These had come from others. It meant something different. Lu Feng hadn't expected Nuwa to hand over the Zhutian Qingyun and 6 pure bamboos without hesitation. The surprise was quickly followed by joy. Thank you, teacher. Seeing Lu Feng's delight, Nuwa felt a little helpless. You're not usually like this. But Lu Feng was secretly doing cartwheels on the inside. Chapter 83 Qingfenjiao. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Nuwa handed the immortal killing sword, which Lu Feng had given her, right back to him. This immortal killing sword formation is powerful, but I don't really need it right now. You should keep it. Lu Feng gazed at the Zhuxian sword formation, really liking it. It was a great treasure, capable of taking on 4 saints at once. After pocketing all her gains from the day, Nuwa started trying to convince Lu Feng to come back to Wa Palace with her. Finally, Lu Feng caved to Nuwa's urging and agreed to go home with her. Before they left, he even brought Xuandu along. Meanwhile, on Kunlun Mountain, Saints Yuanshi and the Western Saints had both arrived. Originally, Zhuanti and Jane hadn't wanted to come, but they had given away 2 precious items. And the more they thought about it on the way, the angrier they got. After Yuanshi inquired, they finally made their way to Kunlun Mountain. Once there, the 2 senior brothers looked around at the beautiful scenery, the mountains, and clear streams, and immediately became envious. If the Western world could be like Kunlun Mountain, they wouldn't need to be running around all the time. Yuanshi had lost a treasure but was acting like it was no big deal, but Jiayin and Zhundi were secretly in agony. For once, the 3 pure ones and the 2 saints were gathered together, but after waiting for so long on Kunlun Mountain, all they got was the news that Nuwa had re-enlightened Honghuang. They got away without a scratch. How could they escape unscathed? That he was so angry he could barely keep it together. Yuanshi ground out the words. Nuwa just got lucky, and Lu Feng is completely disrespectful. That he and Yuanshi kept cursing, but Tong Tian finally couldn't take it anymore and interrupted loudly. Brother, it's not all Nuwa's fault. If the demon tribe hadn't tried to kill the human race, none of this would have happened. Plus, you were the ones blocking the door. What's wrong with Nuwa fighting back? As soon as Tong Tian finished, Yuanshi snapped his head around and cursed angrily. Third brother, why are you defending Nuwa so much? What's your relationship with her? Are you saying our bond as brothers isn't as strong as yours with her? Speaking of which, I haven't even settled the score with you for giving the 4 swords of immortal killer to Nuwa. Tong Tian had a headache dealing with his brother's nonsense. Brother, calm down. The 4 swords of killing immortals. Before Tong Tian could finish, Yuanshi slammed the table. What do you mean, calm down? You've become a traitor behind our backs. That being called a traitor before he could even explain made Tong Tian angry. What do you mean, traitor? I made a bet with Lu Feng and gave them away. I didn't deliberately use that as a way to deal with you. But Tong Tian's words didn't sound very convincing. He was convinced that Tong Tian had deliberately colluded with Lu Feng, which led to their loss. Zhuanti and Jane exchanged glances. How could there be such a coincidence? Why did this happen right after Tong Tian lost to Lu Feng? Even if Tong Tian hadn't done it on purpose, they wouldn't believe him. He glared at Tong Tian angrily. Then why don't you explain why you were so polite to Lu Feng when you took me away? Didn't you see how badly he injured me? That just mentioning it made him furious. Yuanshi chimed in sarcastically. Exactly. Even if you won't help us, you're taking his side, pleading with Lu Feng. How shameless does he have to have you, a saint, intercede? If you'd helped us this time, maybe we wouldn't have lost. Third brother, you're a real embarrassment to our Pangu Xingzong. Hearing that he was embarrassing Pangu Xingzong sent Tong Tian over the edge. Big brother and second brother, what are you saying? You're blaming me for not helping you. You started this whole thing, so why are you blaming everyone else? Now that you can't beat Nuwa, you're putting all the blame on me. That it was the first time Yuanshi and Laozi had been contradicted by Tong Tian, and they were furious. Tong Tian, do you know what you're saying? We're your brothers, after all. Is this how you treat us? Tong Tian stood up and said coldly. You may be my brothers, but I want you to remember one thing. If it weren't for me, my eldest brother would be dead at Lu Feng's hands right now. Why are you still blaming me? Seeing how heated Sanqing was getting, the second saint of the West didn't dare to say a word. If they spoke up now, the 3 Qings might turn on them. That would be terrible, so, they just sat back and watched the show. Sanqing was having a huge argument. It started with figuring out who was to blame, and then it devolved into a fight between Yuanshi's and Tongtian's sections. Tong Tian, your Jiao only accepts people with weird appearances. If you ask me, you might as well disband now. How I accept disciples and build my sect is none of my second brother's business, right? Fine, I can't control you, can I? Second brother, there's no need to pull rank. I just don't want to save people. You. If you keep going like this, you're going to get in big trouble sooner or later. If I get in big trouble, I won't bother my eldest brother and my second brother to bail me out. Since my second brother has always disliked me, I'm moving away from Kunlun Mountain today. In the future, we'll see less of each other." With that, Tong Tian stormed out of Yushu Palace, and with a wave of his hand, he took all the disciples under his name with him. Seeing Tong Tian act like this, Yuanshi felt like he'd been slapped in the face. He was so angry he was shaking. "Tong Tian. You're being too headstrong. Even if something happens to you, don't come back." Seeing such a mess, Zhuanti and Jiayin knew it was time to leave. If they stayed any longer, they might become Yuanshi's punching bag. "Two senior brothers, we have urgent matters in the west, so we can't stay any longer. We'll be going now." Zhuanti and Jiayin ran so fast that they left the Kunlun Mountains in a flash. The outside world had no idea what was happening on Kunlun Mountain, but at that moment, Zixiao Palace was completely silent. In the center of the hall, Hongjun was sitting on a futon with a Taoist plate in front of him. He'd been trying to deduce the secrets of heaven since he got back, but he kept hitting a dead end. He couldn't find the source of the incident at all.